right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Mayum coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Akwadash. Double honor to the elders, apostles of great millstone who do well. Much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. And just want to do a quick lesson, just going into, with what we see happening, on a global scale. And, this isn't nothing, that the prophets haven't told you. All right, the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the true prophets of the Lord, starting from the apostles on down, the things that we've been telling you would happen in the last days are happening today. All right, start off with this precept here in Ezekiel 33 and verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. All right. And one of those prophecies that we told y'all would come to pass is the prophecy of Revelation 17, where the beast would hate the whore. All right. The beast being the NATO EU nations and the whore being America. All right. And we're seeing now how this is going to take place. All right. With Donald Trump back in office, and all these tariffs that he's swinging around. This is now pretty much the whole world is on notice with America. All right. Even America's closest allies, such as Canada and Mexico and, the EU nations, Donald Trump ain't playing, man. And the people of this earth are the nations of the world aren't looking as if America's a friend anymore. Okay? Because what we see getting ready to take place on this earth, man, is going to be something that is going to bring about a great shift in things. All right? A great change of attitude, really. Okay? Because that's all that this devil's doing, man. He's changing up. He's changing the spirit of, that America has had over the earth, as far as being peacemakers and, so-called peacemakers, because they really don't ever, bring peace to the world. But for the most part, that's how he's rolled. All right, this devil. All right, matter of fact, let's get this in Psalms 55, I believe. Maybe it's 58. Yeah, all right, 58. I think in 55 as well. Give me 1 second. Yep. This is what I wanted. Psalms 55 and verse 20. It reads, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And what do we hear Trump speaking of? All right, that the world is going to respect America again. And that sounds real great, to the people of the, here in America. They're thinking that the world respecting America is going to bring about some type of acknowledgement or bowing down of the other nations, as if America's so great, they're so respected, and all that he's brought upon America is his hatred, more hatred for this country and its people and its rulers. Okay, and it said there in verse 20, it says he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Right, man, and these nations have these deals, these coalitions that they join into to work together. But now you got Donald Trump talking all this craziness, man. All right, and all that he's gonna bring, man, is war. Okay, let me get this in Psalms 28. Psalms 28 verse 3 says, Draw me not away with the wicked, and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their heart. You see? And that's what Esau Edom does, man. All right. He speaks peace to his neighbors, but mischief is in his heart. And this is why the scriptures tell us, man, to not trust this devil, man. All right. Sirach chapter 12. Verse 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. And for a long time, through all these peace deals and coalitions that have been formed, the other nations have forgotten who Esau Edom is, man. The serpent, the snake, the deceiving one, the slanderer. Okay? The devil the Bible speaks of, man. And that's just been the job of the devil to do on the earth, which is to deceive the world and to making the world believe that he's as one of the other people. But truly, in all actuality, man, this devil has been nothing but a terror to the earth, man. Going all the way back to the beginning. All right. This devil has done nothing but bring chaos into this world. And he's going to continue to do so, man, until he be taken out of the way, as the scriptures tell us in 2 Thessalonians, which we're drawing nigh unto that time when the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Shai, who the world only calls God in Jesus Christ, he's going to return to remove this devil out of his place, man. All right. And as the scriptures tell us, the Lord setteth up one and he bringeth down another. All right. And Esau Edom is the one that's in charge today. Okay. The earth has been given unto his hands. Okay. And so now we're starting to see this paradigm shift, so to say, on the world, where now the people of these nations are realizing that this devil here, man, specifically going into Trump, is exactly that, man. Nothing but a devil, man. A lot of people, a lot of nations are angry, specifically, leaders of the other nations, but because the people of the world are lost, man. They don't really know their left from their right. They don't. Most, especially here in America, people don't really pay attention to what's happening on a global scale, man. But let's go a little bit into this Revelation 17, man, because again, this is what we see taking place before our very eyes, man. And it's going to lead to America being destroyed. And we've been telling the world this, the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai, starting from the apostles, okay, and their elders, and our elders. We've been out putting up videos. We've been out into the highways and byways, warning the people, telling them that this hatred of America and its eventual downfall would come. Okay. And so let's start here in Revelation chapter 17, verse I'll just start at verse 1. Revelation 17:1, and we'll try to get through this whole chapter here. All right, and it goes, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And so, as we're going to continue to read on down, it's going to give a little bit of a clear understanding of what this is talking about. But just to speak a little on this, the kings of the earth are the leaders of these other nations. Okay, specifically the ones that have gotten into bed, as it said here, have committed fornication. Okay, the ones that have made deals with America. And one of those nations being China, all right, another nation being Mexico and Canada and, the EU nations. All these nations have gone into bed with America. They've made deals, trade deals, to be more specific, because through his traffic, all right, let's get that real quick. It's how this devil has really gotten into his power. All right, let's get this in Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 28. Let me see where I'm going to start at. Right, Yep. Let's just get to the point. Ezekiel 28 verse 5, it says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches, man. And that's Esau Edom, man. And real quick, let's get that word traffic just so you can understand, for those that haven't ever gone into that word, which by this time, brothers have done plenty of videos going into that word traffic. Let's just get into it real quick, because this is going into exactly what we see happening today. All right, the word traffic here in the Hebrew is rakala. If that's correct, rakala. And it says what? Merchandise, traffic, trade. You see? Merchandise, traffic, trade. And so when you speak on, when you think about China in specific, America buys a lot of its merchandise from China, but also America's own companies do a lot of business in China because it's cheaper to produce products over there and ship it back to the United States and make their make their merchandise here in America itself and sell it in America. It's actually cheaper to go abroad, build a facility, pay the workers over there and buy the materials from over there than it is to do that here in America. So even through that, through that merchandise, they've gotten rich off of that. Okay, the leaders of these companies, the rulers of these companies. All right, so this word traffic goes into that trade. So as it reads, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic or thy trade hast thou increased thy riches, man. And the crazy thing about it with Esau's trade is he's intermingled a lot of deceit in with these trades, man. Okay, and he's gotten over on the nations through a lot of this trade that he's done with these other nations, man, whether it be stipulations that he's put on on these other nations, through their business transactions. All right. And now he's doubling down. Esau is doubling down on the getting over on these other nations, man. And the people are now starting to realize that it's no longer it's no longer in their best interest to continue to do business with America, man. As they see they've been sanctioned, they've been put, tariffs have been put on these nations now. So this is a real quick. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8 says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and this is what's going to happen. And it's all these other nations that we see ruling this earth, specifically going into China, and Russia, they believe that they see the downfall of America happening. And so they think that they're going to be the next ones to come up and become, get into power as America has been in power. But that's not going to happen. The one people that is going to be translated over to is going to be the Israelites, starting with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. So back in Revelation 17:2, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. The way they've committed fornication is through that traffic, through their trade, through these deals that they've made with one another. All right, whether it was China, whether it was the EU. And now you see Trump coming out and saying that they're being swindled, that they're being so-called robbed, that America has been on the losing end of all these deals. And so now that's why he's reneging on a lot of these things and setting up tariffs. Again, these is all just a charade to bring about the prophecies of the Lord, whether he's being told to do these things or whether the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is being put into him to do these things, to bring about the prophecies. Nonetheless, these things is leading unto the destruction of this place, man. Okay, and so it goes, and the inhabitants, this is Revelation 17:2, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? Because the people of this earth have come to believe that whatever comes out of America must be great. So that's why you see a lot of people doing all over the earth, following after the ways of America, whether it be doing, becoming streamers or the fashion, the music, the sports that people watch, a lot of things that people do on a daily basis is because America has pushed it out to the four corners of the earth. Okay. Continues to say, though, verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And it's going to get into those 7 heads and 10 horns. Which, matter of fact, let me get my list ready. Make sure I have that here. I'm not sure if I have it written down on these scriptures. I had it written down once before. If not, I'll pull up the picture and bring out those nations. Doesn't look like I have any of those there. So I'll have to pull up the picture, but it'll get into those 7 heads and the 10 horns. But this woman that's sitting upon the scarlet beast is America. Okay, verse 4 says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And now, who else in the scriptures was known as a golden cup in the hands of the Lord? Babylon. Let's get that real quick. I believe that's Jeremiah 50. Which Jeremiah 50, you know, it's pretty synonymous with the Revelations. Let me just type it in. Yep, Jeremiah 51, Salakia. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. You see? And this is speaking on Babylon the Great, America. Okay? This is a future prophecy. Okay? The nations being drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. This is what we see taking place today. Okay, where the nations are angry with America, man. Especially right now. You have these other nations. You got Canada retaliating back. China retaliating back against what America's doing as far as trades go. You know, and now you got the whole, you know, the whole world in uproar, man. You know, the EU being, getting tariffs put on them as well. All right, the people are fed up with what America has been doing, man. Okay, and it says verse 5, or back in Revelation 17 and 5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. You see, going back to that Jeremiah 51, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns. All right, so the angel is not going to describe this beast and the whore. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So now, what is this going into? This verse 8, the beast that was and is not and shall ascend. This is going into that Roman Empire. Okay, now when you go into the history of the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire fell. All right, and it was split into two different empires. You had the Western Roman Empire, and you had the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, or what was eventually known as the Holy Roman Empire, which is the Holy Roman Empire was where, you had Constantine and all the popes come out of, and, the church, the Catholic Church came out of. The Western Roman Empire where the Edomites were still ruling, all right, which eventually fell. They collapsed. Their economy was shit. All right, they couldn't, maintain, and they eventually crumbled. They were still ruling out of Italy, They still had parts of Spain and France and all that area out that way. And obviously the Eastern Roman Empire was based out of Turkey or Istanbul, which was eventually known as well, today is known as Istanbul, but back in the 300s AD, it was known as the Constantinople, okay, or Byzantium was another name that was given onto that city, that area. So they had kind of like that Middle East, northern, Middle Europe type of area where they were ruling at. All right, so the Western Roman Empire, which had what known as today as Europe, the Italy, you had parts of Greece, Spain, France, those areas were where these Edomites were at. This is that bottomless pit. Okay, so they ascended eventually out of that area, man. All right, and as is going to go into these of the 7 heads, 3 of those heads came from those areas. All right, being the Spanish, the French, and the British. Okay, this is where Esau came back into the power known during the time of the Renaissance, starting with the French. Okay, which the word Renaissance means the rebirth. Okay. Okay, so this is that beast that was that Roman Empire, that Edomite Roman Empire that fell. All right, and eventually it came back out of the bottomless pit, out of those nations over in Europe, the Spanish, the French, and the British. Okay, and it says, and go into perdition, and they shall dwell on the earth, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life. And it's important to understand that it said names were not written in the book of life. Okay, because that's what happened, man. The people of this earth, okay, they marveled at how great power these devils got back, into. Okay, because ever since, the Roman Empire, pretty much ruled the whole known world at that time. They fell, but when they came back into the power with the French, the Spanish, and the British, these devils took over the entire earth. Okay, and they've been in power ever since. Okay, and it says, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Verse 9, and here is the mind that hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Okay, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So what are these 7 kings? These are the 7 heads. Okay, the 7 heads being 7 mountains. Let me see if it goes into it in the blue letter. But the mountains is indicative of power. Okay, but let's just get it real quick just to prove that point. To see, I want to see if they go into it. Verse 9. And here's the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. The word mountain here in the Greek is oros. It says a mountain. Strong's definition says to rise or rear. A mountain lifting itself above the plain, hill, a mount. So it really doesn't go into it. But that's what it is these different governments that rose up out of these different lands. Okay. And by the different lands, I mean the places where Esau ruled. Okay, so you had the Greek was the first Edomite empire. All right, then you had the Romans. All right, you had the Germanic tribes. All right, which is Germania Major, Germania Minor. All right, then you had the French, the Spanish, and then you had eventually, which was the last of the 7 heads, which was Britain, or the British, and that's what it's speaking on here. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So the 5 are fallen. We're speaking on the Greeks, the Germania Major, Germania Minor, the Roman Empire, or Slovakia, the Spanish, and the French. And the one that is speaking on the Roman Empire, because at the time that John the Baptist was writing this, Rome was in power. Okay. And then the one that is yet to come is speaking on the British. Okay, because remember, this is a prophecy, a vision that John is seeing and is being explained onto him. Okay, so he's actually seeing a beast having 7 heads. Okay, and it says, verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, speaking on that Roman Empire, even he is the 8th and is of the 7th and goeth into perdition. You see, so you know, one thing I like to point out on this verse, it says even he is the 8th. So you have 7 heads, and it says and is of the 7th. So what came out of the 7th head? Being the British Empire. America did, right? Now, if you actually look at the image that John is looking at, this beast having 7 heads and a woman that sitteth up upon it, the woman would be the 8th head, which again is America. Okay, but it came out of the 7th, meaning America was formed from the British Empire. Okay. And again, it said, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. Okay, because America embodied what Rome was all about. Okay, Rome was the hammer of the whole earth, which is what's spoken of in Jeremiah 50. How is the hammer of the whole earth broken asunder? All right, the Roman Empire was the hammer as well. In Daniel's vision in chapter 7, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. It references the Roman Empire as having teeth, all right, or iron feet. Or it's like in Daniel 7, it speaks about it having iron teeth, but in Daniel's chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar's vision, it references Rome as having the iron feet, which is stamped at the people, and the residue of the people is stomped all over them. And that's what Rome did, and that's what America is doing. They've just trampled over these people. So real quick, Daniel 7:7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible. And this is specifically going into the Roman Empire. Dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And that's what Rome was, man. They were strong and terrible. Okay. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And you see, even when you go down to the structure of the Roman Empire, how they had one ruler, they had a senate, they had the consul, back when they were in the Roman Republic. You have the same structure here in America as far as the government goes, man. But America does the same thing. They go around the whole earth, just running over these people of this world. And this is to the point to where we're at today, where the people are fed up with it. Here it is now through Donald Trump, which we believe to be narrow. They're putting their foot. America's trying to put their foot down on the necks of these nations, and they've had enough, man. To where now the nations are retaliating. Okay, and it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest," back in Revelation 17:12, "are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." And so when you go into those 10 horns, all right, this is going into these allies of America, specifically the EU nations, the NATO EU nations. Okay, and when you go into the formation of NATO, when you go into the formation of the EU nations, originally it was 10 nations when it was known as the European Economic Community. All right, the EEC, which eventually was changed into the EU, the European Union. All right, but those 10 heads are these. You had 1, Belgium, 2, Denmark, 3, France, 4, Italy, 5, Luxembourg, 6, Netherlands, 7, Greece, 8, Spain and Portugal, which, again, this is how they became now to where you have the EU. I believe they have like 29 or 27 nations, because they would split up nations like Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland being number 9, and number 10, West Germany. Okay, all these things, all these nations, were the original 10 nations that were under the EEC. Okay, they're the ones that were ruling, or with the beast. They were ruling with the beast. They were given power with them. Okay. And when you go back into the Roman Empire, they had the same allies. Okay, they went by different names. You had the Gauls, the Alemanni, which was the Germans. You had the Gauls, all right, so on and so forth. I forget, the original names that they went by during the time of the Roman Empire, but you can look that up on yourself. But there was originally 10 allies, 10 Germanic tribes that Rome did trade with, that they did deals with, that they had deals with, that eventually those Germanic tribes were the downfall, because they were starting to go to war with Rome. All right, again, symbolic of today, because the dealings that Rome was had with these nations. Okay, again, they became mad. And we're seeing this happen all over again. So I'll read Revelation 17 and 12 again. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And these nations have ruled alongside of America." Nobody dared mess with these nations, the NATO EU nations, because they know that if they did, America would be backing those nations up, because that's part of the deal. Nobody messes with you. You do business with me, and we're both, everything's copacetic. That's how these deals went. But now it's starting to things are starting to be, the table, so to say, being flipped. Okay. So it says, verse 13, it says, "These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." And even going back into the Roman Empire, man, the believers of Yahushua, were persecuted. They were hanged. They were killed. They were destroyed. And going into to today's times, brothers can attest to this, man, that we're hated, right? We're persecuted, and the persecution is going to come even more here as we draw closer to the end, because this is just what these devils do, man, because we've been prophesying their downfall. That's why I opened up the lesson with Ezekiel 33, because these things are coming to pass now. They're going to hate they're going to hate the prophets of the Lord for this. Because we've been speaking these things into existence, man, because it's been prophesied, it's been written years ago, thousands of years ago. So continuing on, verse 15, Revelation 17 and 15, "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." You see? So the earth is given unto the hands of the wicked, as it tells us in Job 9 and 24. That's what this devil does, man. He rules over the people of this earth. All right. And it says, verse 17, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." And this is where we're at now. "These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." And this is what's going to come here soon, where they burn her with fire, man. And America will be destroyed by the America's enemies and America's own allies, man. As we read back in what was that, Psalms 28. Let me read that again. America has played the fiddle with his own friends, man. This is Psalms 28 and 3. It says, "Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their heart." America has spoken nothing but peace to their neighbors with their allies, and now all of a sudden mischief is being brought out, is being seen, because as iron rusts, so shall his wickedness, man. And this is what we're seeing, his rust being shown to the world. And it's took them long enough, but now that this hour has passed, now it's just time for these nations, these 10 horns, to hate this whore, man. And it will be destroyed. So says the Bible. So says the Most High, man. The Lord is going to have it to where these attitudes continue to amplify around the earth, man. The hatred and the disdain for America is going to continue to grow until eventually There's going to be World War III, and the nations are all going to take advantage of this and attack America, man. Okay, verse 17, it says, "For the Most High has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will." So the destruction of America is the will of the Heavenly Father, and is going to be fulfilled. His words shall not return unto him void, man. Psalms 55 or Isaiah 55:11. Okay. So the Lord is putting it in the spirit of these nations to hate this place, man, and to eventually shoot at her. Okay. It says, and to agree, you see, so the Lord has also put it in their spirits to agree with America for a time. But now is the time to where these disagreements are coming. Why? Because Yahweh Shai said that this would be the spirit that he would bring to the earth on his return. Okay. This is Luke. Was it Luke chapter 21? No, I think it's Luke chapter 12, actually, Salakia. Yeah. Luke chapter 12 and verse 51, it says, "Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division." And see, this is what Yahweh Shai, the spirit of Yahweh Shai, first and foremost, is bringing upon the earth, is that division. And we're seeing the division now touching these devils, man. All right, as they all conspired one with another to divide us from our power, now the Lord is dividing them from one another to destroy one another, man. And it's beautiful, man. This is why the prophets desire to actually see these things that we see now. Because this is the ultimate chess move, man, that the Lord has played on these people. He allowed them to divide us from our power so that the Lord could bring back his, the remnant that he's ordained from the beginning, deliver them in the end, and then bring about these people's division. Bring about division amongst these people that the Lord used to destroy us. He's now going to use to destroy themselves. Okay, and it says, "And give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled," man. And we're almost out of here, man. All right, the words of the Heavenly Father are going to be fulfilled to a T. Okay, these words are going to come to pass. And it says, verse 18, just to further edify, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." And who reigns over the kings of the earth in today's time? America. America's the one that dictates pretty much what's being done on the earth, man. If America has a problem with something you're doing, they're gonna come fuck with you, man. They're gonna put tariffs on you. They're gonna put sanctions on you. They may invade, as Trump has had talks of doing, over there in the Middle East, man, and in other parts of the world. Okay, this devil, man, just can't be satisfied, man, and this is why he just got to be taken out of the way. But the Most High has allowed him to fulfill his time, but now the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled, man. It's almost up. And the translation from one people to another is nigh upon us, man. Where Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to translate the power over unto his son, Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai, with his joint heirs, is going to rule this earth, man. So, Lord's with us is edifying. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ruchah Kodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. And much blessing and salutations to the Hakim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and this truth and sincerity. With that, I say shalom.